I think we're live. Let me just confirm. I think we're live. Yeah, we're live. Yep. hmm Yeah. Trying to figure out. All right. Hello, everybody. Come on in here. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in, team. Certainly thank you for joining us that are on your way. Those on YouTube, those that are on Facebook. Come on in, say hello, hello, hello. We'll be getting started momentarily. All right. We're going to wait a few more minutes, but thank you for all of those that are joining in with us this evening. This is our Word for Life time, and we're just getting started in a few moments. Going to allow some more people to jump on. I ask those of you that are watching, those of you that are on, join in and share for me on YouTube and on Facebook. Do me a favor and just share. We're going to share some vital information and get ready to go forward in a few moments. So come on in. Excited for you. And Lelanie's with us today, and we got some guests we're going to introduce, and Brother Joshua with us. And so we're really excited, really excited. So come on in, everybody. Come on in. So we're really excited. And hello, everybody, once again. Thank you so much for being so kind and joining us. Um, hello, hello, everybody. Those of you on YouTube, just come on and say hello. Those of you on Facebook, come on and say hello. We're gonna get started in a few moments. Make sure y'all share this on here with me on Zoom. If you haven't already, do me a favor and just share. We're gonna be talking about some vital stuff that's concerning our young people, and we want to be very, very brief but bright and yet brilliant. So I got some brilliant minds on the line, and I'm grateful for all of you that are joining in. Got Brother Josh and Brother Derek with us, and is this all we're gonna have today, Josh and Derek?
No.
Where the rest of the team at? I'm sure they're on their way. All right. Well, thank you so much. Before we begin, I just want to make mention that we are yet still praying for our members and praying for our church. And certainly one of the members of our church Sister Johnson, her husband, Deacon Wanzi Johnson, went home to be with the Lord, and his funeral services are this Saturday, and we want to lift them up in prayer. Certainly know that God is able, and we're trusting that God will continue to bring comfort and strength to that entire family. And as a result, we were actually scheduled to do for uh, our giveaway for we do fresh produce giveaways to the community to bless our community. We were expected to do that this time, but so happened where we are going to postpone that until we actually, because a lot of our members are going to be supporting Sister Linda Johnson, and rightfully so. So we're going to postpone it until May and jump in there. But good evening, Sister Karen. Good evening, Sister Sophia. Good evening to all of you that are joining in with us today. Do me a favor, just share and let everybody know that we're on. And we're going to be getting started momentarily.
Pastor,
Brother,
I didn't hear you. Who you said we praying for again? Who you said sick again?
Yes, Sister Linda Johnson. Derek, I don't know if you know. I'm sure you know Brother Deacon Fonzie Richmond. His sister.
Yeah, I know Fonzie.
Yeah, his sister-in-law. Her husband, his brother-in-law, his sister's husband passed away. Yeah, we're praying for that family, and yeah, man, thank you for your concern.
Sure.
But yeah, man, we're excited, and again, our church is on the move and on the march, and at the forefront of it is our young people, and so this is the second week in the row. We have our young people. I'm just waiting on Josh to get on because I can't see Josh's face.
I'm on.
I can't see his face. You see his face? Derek, do you see his face?
No, you gotta.
I don't see it. I don't see it either. I'm trying to. I'm trying to see his face. Yeah, man. There you go. You don't have locks no more. Cortez gonna be mad at you. Look.
Oh man.
We can't get this man to wear a shirt.
Yeah, he always got his muscle shirts on, man.
We can't get this man to wear a shirt.
Trying to go in the World Wide Web with his muscle shirts, man.
I just be chilling around the crib.
Yeah, man. And so we got another guest coming in, Reverend Alan Mitchell. He's gonna show his face momentarily, and yeah. So we're gonna get started. We're not gonna hold you too long tonight. But good evening, Sister Cynthia. Good evening, Brother Isaiah. Sister Joyner. Good to see y'all. Grateful that you all are joining with us today. Listen. We're going to have a quick word of prayer, and then we're going to kind of get started. I want to bring forth our young people yet again. Minister Edmund Williams is going to kind of lead the discussion and kind of help us to kind of gauge where we are. There's a few things that we're going to be dealing with. We're going to really be talking about some real life stuff that is going on in this world, in this nation, in America, in Minnesota, and everywhere else, and even in Chicago. And we have some. I mean, honestly, I'm not even being funny. We have some really insightful young minds, brilliant people that are present that have something to say, have something to share, and some insight to provide for us that could help us moving forward, particularly as a people, as a community, and as a church. And so, we're going to be talking freely. We're going to be talking radically. And I've always encouraged our platforms to be platforms where you can just be authentic. But we obviously understand who we're talking to in our audience and things of that nature. So we want to be genuine and authentic, but we also want to be kind and responsible with the platform that we have. But again, thank you so much for joining us. Let's have a quick word of prayer and we'll get going. But good to see you, Sister Candace. Good to see you. Brother LC, God bless all you all. We certainly are thanking God for your presence today, and those of you even on YouTube and Facebook. Good to see you, Sister Patrina. Thank you for joining us as well, and we're just excited to have all of you present with us. And we don't take you for granted, but we thank you for being a part of our conversation tonight. So let's have a quick word of prayer, and we'll get started. Lord in heaven, we thank you for this time and this moment. In this hour, we pray, Lord, that you would bless our time together and bless those that hear it, and bless those that are a part of it. And Lord, help it to be helpful for those who are engaged with it. We plead that your presence be evident even in this conversation that we're having. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So again, thank you so much for joining us, and allow me to just be honest. This is not a rant session, but this is a session for us to really come forward with some insightful information, and our young people to be, really at the forefront of the conversation, and allow them to speak on about what's going on. So I'm going to, again, dealing with COVID, dealing with George Floyd, dealing with Dante Wright, dealing with so much that we're facing. I thought it was appropriate for us to kind of break the norms and have a good conversation. So Minister Edmund, go ahead, man. Take us from there and say hello, introduce some people, and take it from there.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. This time, Metropolitan, we'll highlight youth and the entire month and talking with our youth. We're investing in them and pouring into them, and they're pouring into us as well. We have Pastor Burn, youth pastor of Revolution, as well, now director for the youth. We have Pastor Alan Mitchell on the line, as well as Pastor Williams, and then we have our youth, Derek Joshua, Sister Jen, Ron Lewis just stepped in. So I'm gonna begin by saying, with the recent youth being shot by police, I want to do a mental health check. How are you guys feeling? What's going on? What's going on through your mind? You hear this type of headline happen over and over again. I'm gonna start with Joshua. During this time, how are you feeling about hearing the news of another child, shot by police?
I'm gonna give my honest thought. To be honest, it's kind of like it's norm now. It's nothing new.
Okay.
It really just like, which is bad, but it's just almost normal. So it's like, it is like a sad event, but it just happened over and over, and it's almost become like so normal to me. And it's like it's nothing surprising to me.
Mm-hmm.
And even if his killer doesn't go to jail, that's something that's not surprising to me. So it's like I'm not surprised by any of this, and which is bad, but really, like, my first thought, like, that's really what I could tell you.
Okay. Sister James?
Honestly, I'm honestly the exact same way with Josh. When I didn't even know that it happened until Pastor put it in the group chat, and I was like, it's sad that this is now a norm. I was like, wow, they done killed another Black person. And, it broke my heart all over again, but it was the same reaction. It didn't happen numerous of times, too many times, to where like we're not really in shock. And it shouldn't be a regular thing. We should feel some type of way. And yes, we feel some type of way, but it's not the way that we should be like, oh my God, they really need to stop. But now it's like, okay, they killed another one of us. What we gonna do about it now? So
well,
that's really how I'm feeling about it.
Yeah, and let's just say this out there, and just put it out there. This is not the norm. This is not how it's supposed to be. And our feelings towards it seems like we do the same thing. We riot, we loot, we do these certain things, but we never talk about we talk about the problem, but the problem is never solved. But I don't want y'all to feel like you cannot grieve during this time. You guys cannot feel a certain way about this because it's wrong, Derek? I don't know if he's with us. Brandon, what do you think the church's position during this time, Brandon? What should we be doing to support our youth during this time?
For me personally, first just want to thank everybody for allowing me to be on. I enjoyed last week. I want to thank the youth for coming back because last week was legit, man. It was a great conversation. So for me, I think it first starts with these type of settings, these conversations. I think the church is having to get in that place where we understand that the voice of the church matters and that the direction of how the youth are going to view things, if it's not stated or given an opportunity like these platforms for them to discuss it in these settings, they're going to grow their own thoughts about it and grow it to a place to where, because I agree with both of the youth, it's getting to that place where, unfortunately, when you see the headline, you don't even get shocked. Sometimes you're sad, but you're not taken to that place from when you first seen it, a couple years ago when it was happening so often. You just get to a place where it's consistent. So I think the church has to get to a place where we want to do something. I think it's time for the church to act. It's time for the church as a whole to show the youth that they have a force that can bring change. So that way our youth don't get in a mindset, because I agree with them, we think it's normal. And that since it is normal, we do have a weapon that we can use to cause change in the world. And I think that our youth are getting to a place where they're starting to feel helpless and starting to feel that none of this is going to change. There's nothing you can do. You can hold signs, you can riot, you can march, but it's going to happen again. And I think that throughout history, if we look historically, so much of in America has changed because of the church. And I think that would be the responsibility, is to show this generation that previous generations changed things through their voice in the church.
Yeah, I totally agree. And we do understand that during this time, a lot of youth feel helpless. There's nothing they can say. When they get stopped by the police, it's like, it's almost, they use the word opposition. It's almost like that is the opposition. You know what I mean? But they're supposed to protect and serve, right? Pastor Mitchell, chime in whenever you're ready. How do you, just the church's position on social injustices?
Everybody, Pastor Eddie and all who's on here, thanks for the opportunity. I've been in the street since Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown, Eric Gardner. I've been to Baltimore. I've been to Ferguson. You know what? I'm out to be blunt, and I cannot, in this context, I don't think I can sugarcoat anything anymore. Considering, it's on purpose, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. There's no more mistakes. There's no more oops or I'm sorry. They see our skin color and it's automatically deemed as a weapon. I have to look at Christ in a balanced manner. We have marched, yes, we have prayed and all these great things. But I'm still looking at the Christ who saw the problems in society and the system and went into the temple and he intentionally premeditated, made a braid out of vines, went inside of the temple and whipped tail and drove ignorance out. He also charged us and his disciples that if they don't have a sword, to sell your belongings and buy one. I'm not telling our people to go out and find blood to shed, but I will say this. We have become meek and in a sense mild and numb to these actions that's happening to us. In some form, in some way, we have to become extreme in order to make a point. That means that if we desire our justice, we cannot be comfortable and complacent in where we spend our money, who attention we give, and where we go, and who we talk to, and the environments we're in. We have to become so extreme that we have to change our lives literally turning it upside down. We're normal. Everything is microwave ready. We don't want to disrupt that. But in my opinion, we have to fight this system so hard that we refuse to spend our money, to celebrate their holidays, to go into their businesses, to support anything that's surrounded around what white supremacy is. I'm a pastor who has several guns because I understand I have to take care of my family and they got to go home. My wife is a cop. Her job is to come back home every day, but she also understands that it's not her duty to kill somebody because of her fear. She has protocols and things she has to follow. But even her as a cop, she can't even go back to work because she doesn't know how to approach the situation. She doesn't know really what to do because they're killing us, but then she has to protect and serve. In my theory, we have to find some form of extremities to make a statement. I'm being very careful right now because I don't want to go off the cliff.
No, I understand. And I appreciate that too.
Yeah, and I want to hear everybody else before I go there.
Well, let me just be honest. Like, are we at war? Is it wartime? Right?
Yes.
And so I hear you say yes, and I agree. And as a result of that, there has to be some understanding and like let me put in a thought that's out there, right? That again, I'm not necessarily saying that I do or don't subscribe to this, but there are people that say things like, it won't happen, or the change that we want to see won't take place until it starts happening to other people besides people of color. Have you heard of that? Have you heard that notion that if you want that the change will finally come, all the revolution that we speak about will come once we again find a way to or not we, but when it begins to happen to them. Have you heard of that?
Yes.
Well, that's always been the case. A lot of that comes from just racism and white supremacy. And it is a system, and we have been in this system for so many years, with the beginning of slavery, and then that going into systematic racism with the jail system. So to say, are we at war? That I would say that we didn't know, but we was in this predicament way before that we knew. I think that this system was made and this system was built way before we even knew that there was that type of problem. Now, people will say, and I heard Pastor Mitchell reference this. Our people are forgiving. We are people of forgiveness, and we seem to always want to be engulfed, and we all want to make things work connecting, if you will. But our only goes so much. It doesn't go to what we spend our money on because we're still buying those brands. It doesn't go to the places that we send our children for college. We send to PW, and they can go to Black Institute, the same, receive the same or even better education that's catered towards who they are. But we feel like we need the label or the certification of our white counterparts in that regard. Minister Perrion, how you feel about it? Let's talk.
As minister, like when I heard about it, I feel like, here we go again. Like, it's like, when does it change? Like, I was highly upset, like, about it. I have mixed emotions, like, when does it change? Or when does it stop? What can we do to, I know we march, we protest, we do, but what changes? What we have to do? What strategies do we have to come up with so that this will stop. You know, we understand the systemic racism that's been going on for for years. You know, we just we seen it, we heard it. Like what do we do? And that's why I've been asking myself. You know, like what changes have to be made in order to stop?
Part of the question I want to raise is, and this is to brother Ron, and by the way, it's a pleasure to have three alphas on the same Zoom at the same time. We have brother Ron's an alpha. Brother Allen's an alpha. Excuse me. It's 4 alphas on here, but the Perion's an alpha, and I'm the newest alpha. But it's okay. I just keep moving. But I know you're a Sigma. But that's all right, brother.
Move a little faster. I wish you move a little faster.
but I want to address this and be honest. Does it even affect you all?
They just said,
right? Because it's like, how do you feel about it? I mean, does it even really? Because for me, there's 2 ways I look at this. I look at that being myself, and I look at that being my son. Right? I look at that being myself. I look at that being my son. When I see these young men, and I think Van Jones, I was watching him last night. He said something really profound. He said when people who have had people of color, and he was really referencing Black people, when they look at police, they don't look at the badge, they look at the guns, the weapons that they have. But when you've never had any real run-ins and you're most likely a person who is white, you look at the badge and it's yes, sir, officer, right? There's this great communication and great relationship you have. But we as a people, we look at the weapons. We identify police officers as persons who are not sworn to protect, but will kill you. I mean, I lift that up to Lalaney, to Derek, to Josh, to Ronnie. Talk to me, man. What do you all think, or what do you think about that?
Everybody first, everybody just call me Ronnie. That's just a name that come up on my thing, but good to see everybody. I think for me, it's just irritating to keep talking about it. I feel like we've been having the same conversation for years, and I don't really like talking about problems I can't affect. So what that means to me is like, we can keep, like, somebody can get killed tomorrow and we're gonna have the same conversation, like, oh, we're tired, we're normal, like it's been the same thing for years. So for me, it's like, I don't really like talking about problems that I don't have an answer to in solving. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, if I ask Josh, like, yo, like, what's up with, I don't know, dude talking to you like that or something like that, like, I would bring up that problem knowing that I have a strategy to try to change the way that somebody might be talking to Josh. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, it's like, I don't really like talking about problems that that's repeating. And I'll be feeling like we can continue to have this conversation, because I think it's important to, like, kind of talk about our feelings and how it's making us feel. But at the same time, it's like, what's the point? Like, why we keep doing this every time?
Well, I'm gonna tell you one. When it comes to mental health, it is not normal. This is supposed to be happening. That is not a normal way of thought. We don't want to think about the same thing over and over again. We can't be feeling helpless when it comes to us as Black people, when we are the majority. 40% of the money is given by us, because we are always giving our money towards these white industries. We can't feel helpless. We have to feel like our position in power, and we have to stand on it and use our position of power. All right, Derek, talk about it. How you feeling about this? I know you. I ain't get a chance to check in with you. And this is a mental health check-in. This is all that is. This is time that we can use. This is time that we can use to get our to get it together, to get things in order.
It's definitely something that don't need to be under the rug, I feel like. Cause like I agree with Ronnie, like it is aggravating to like constantly talk about it, but like if we don't talk about it, it's gonna become like a thing in Chicago, like now, like it's gonna become more normal than we think. So I feel like
it's already normal to
talking
me.
about it is at least getting it out there that like, you know, that we feeling some type of way about it. Cause at the end of the day, us sweeping it under the rug ain't really gonna solve nothing. It's gonna basically be like a pushover. Like you ever got pushed over when you was little? Like if you let a person keep pushing you over, like it's so much to a point where your people gonna get like, or you yourself gonna get like mad, or you want to retaliate. So that's why
we can't be content.
What'd you say?
We can't be content. I said we can't be content with this. No.
Yeah. It's something to talk about.
We can't do that.
It's something that's happening.
No. I just think like all the things and solutions that we've come up with already, we're not the first people to think about this. Everything that we said, we've talked about economic investment and disinvestment and not investing in those communities. Like we're not the first. And I think
we are though, Ronnie.
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I might be wrong. You know, I'm definitely not. You know, I just think like
steps. Yeah, because people our grandma age, they did stuff, but they don't have as much as power as we got nowadays. Like we could change everything that's going on, but we just don't. We not coming together like that.
That statement is so valid. I think
also
about what happened with GameStop. No, hold on. I think about like what happened with GameStop. You know, everybody invested their money in GameStop and the stock market went crazy only because of a tweet or only because of a message. And so I think we have power, but where do we use it? What do we do with it? How do we use it? How do we get more people on the same page as us? You know, because this is the thing. If we don't think this is a fight, or we have to talk about it, because this is the thing. It's systems against us. It's systems against Derek. There's systems against Joshua. Why can't we come up with something ourselves? You know what I'm saying? To know that, you know, to support you guys during that time. Y'all can go. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Josh.
No, you good. I just want to say, like I understand we want justice. I understand that, and like this next statement I'm finna say, like don't let it throw you off, cause I'm like 100% for the justice, but like I feel like it all starts with us. Like it's no love, like in the black community, there's no love. You know what I'm saying? Like I walk past, you know what I'm saying? You walk past people your same color, it's no love. It's all hate. And that's the feeling I feel. Like it's not genuine, it's hate. You know what I'm saying? We kill each other, we steal from each other, we put each other down. Our women put our men down, our men put our women down. It's like, so how can we really start when we really not on the same page? We're scattered all over the place.
Yes, sir.
We're scattered all over the place. So how can we really get on the same page? Like, how can we push forward to the next race? We not even there with our own race.
We curse,
and
bro.
kind of to piggyback off what Ronnie said, it's like, really, what can, like, it do make sense. Like, I get what he was saying. Like, what can you do? Because it's like, how can we get the entire black community on the page and then go to the next thing? Like, we really got to take baby steps at this, and we still not on the same page. We still,
that's because we cursed. They cursed us.
We still, but gang versus gangs, like it's childish at this point. And it just,
I want y'all to consider the history of what happened to us as a people, and consider science as well as spirituality. They both are almost like brother and sister. Generational curses are not just an utterance that we say in church, but it is scientifically and spiritually proven. Generational or curses in science is theorized as an imprinting upon one's memory and DNA based on what happened in the past, present, and future. Consider Tulsa, Oklahoma, in the 1920s, Black Wall Street. We had our own everything. Consider Philadelphia in the 1980s. Consider all the times we were unified. We've been bombed. We have been castrated. We have been burned alive. We've been shot down like dogs. When you consider generational curses, you have to apply the fact that there is an embedded fear to progress because of the memories of the past. Every time we've done anything, it's literally been destroyed by the hands of white supremacy, both systematically and physically. We have to also consider the fact that violence is not a one-ticket street, but there is no such narrative as Black on Black crime. But there is the narrative of humans murdering and committing crime against each other, because we don't see the narrative of white on white crime being pushed, Native American, Asian, et cetera, et cetera. When you look at statistics, people are killing each other who are of the same race all over the world. And so this narrative teaches us that we're nothing but apes and animals who can't come together because we have this embedded issue in our own community. And I have to speak because I literally just found out 20 minutes ago that my cousin was shot in the head over some beef by another Black person. And that is a problem in our community, but it stems from the hate and indoctrination we were taught. We were taught to hate each other. Subliminal messages in the media, subliminal messages in the music, subliminal messages within the
most definitely.
And the things
my condolences to you, Pastor.
And I appreciate that. And so, you know, this might sound crazy, but Christ said, "Let the dead bury the dead," because we got work to do. I'll see my cousin again. But the thing is, man, we have to understand that all this going on is a layered onion. And there's so many layers to why we're not doing certain things and why this is going on. You have Black people who are surrounded by food deserts, by crime. You have Black people who have testimonies of trying to sell a house and coming to find out when they put their white friends on the application that they get more money than they would have if they would have put themselves on there. This is a system that is literally targeting us and trying to destroy us on every grand scale. But how do we unify? We have to look at each other as family. Part of the problem in our community is the things we have been taught and what they say in the media to keep us separate. If you're Black, you're family, period. Regardless of your religious affiliation, if you're transgender, gay, if you're atheist, if you're agnostic, if you're Muslim, we have to look at our skin color and say, you are getting the same whooping I'm getting. And if you are experiencing the same turmoil I'm experiencing, then you have to be my blood brother, regardless of our differences. And we have to approach the issues of mass incarceration, miseducation, gentrification, access to wealth, police genocide, and all these things that's going on in our embedded ways of thinking. If we approach most importantly, our embedded ways of thinking, these programmable things, because we are programmable beings. That's why they call television programs, because it literally programs you to think a certain way. And if we learn how to change these things about how we see each other and what the media regurgitates to us, I really think that's the first step to how we can change things. Because like Pastor said or asked, we are at war. And we've been at war since we've been enslaved in the early 1600s when they came over because they saw who we were spiritually and what we're capable of.
Let me address let me address a couple of things that were noted in the comments, because some of our viewers are actually commenting. One of our members, Shirley Wooten, said, "When you want to change, you must be the change maker. Start locally, then move up the chain. Young people teach other young people how to make the change that you're tired of." One person said, a visitor that's listening, Trina Malone, said, "Listening to this conversation makes me revisit Malcolm X thought processes in the 60s and how the Black Americans were treated." There's some other people that are kind of making some comments, like brother Stephen Smith said, he said, the difference between then and now is communication moves quicker. Talking about it can help us get on the same page. That was from his wife, Mrs. Smith. So she's also watching. So I think I get where Ronnie's frustration comes from. I definitely get that 1,000,000%. And I get the fact that, man, we've been talking about this thing for how long and what has it gotten us, right? And we're having these conversations. And I think what I feel Ronnie is saying is it's falling on deaf ears. Nothing's, and I don't want to put too much in your words in your mouth, bro, but nothing is really working. And I definitely get that. And I don't know if you want to expound on that, bro.
Yeah, I think we somebody made a good reference to the Reddit situation, and briefly I explained that, in which there were people that was trying to like, there was a stock that people was trying to go lower or something, and then so they used Reddit to get the word out, and then it made it skyrocket or whatever, right? Even in that scenario, right, they used Reddit. Reddit was something, so the stock market is something that really rich people have been manipulating for a long time, right? Everybody was complaining about it for years and years and years. Man, rich people is getting rich off this, even with the house market crisis or whatever. They used Reddit, which was a new platform, to say, okay, cool, we're going to tell everybody to buy it so then they can lose their money. That was a new initiative and strategy for them to help and do whatever to the stock market. So what does that mean? They couldn't have used and kept talking about the same stuff that they was talking about in 2008 to make that happen, because Reddit wasn't, I don't know if Reddit was a thing in 2008, but it was just something, a new thing, right? It was something new. So what I'm saying to this scenario is, like, we have to look at the new platforms, the new technologies, the new XYZ, because I feel like a lot of the thing, like the feeling of emotion, like, I think it needs to be addressed. You know, the mental health is important, but we really have to start identifying.
I agree with that 110%.
Yeah, I'm just saying that there are new platforms, new things that I think that we have not 100% considered to solving this problem. And it's like, sometimes it gets irritating to me because I don't have the answer. So I'm not going to sit here and have this elaborate, you know, this is what I think, this is how I feel, because I haven't thought about what the strategy could look like to change it. But just like they did with Reddit, who would have thought that Reddit would change this stock market thing? Nobody would have thought that. So it's like, we really have to get creative with these solutions. And it's not, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if we're there yet.
Well, what it was a communication tool, right?
Right.
And those communication tools then shifted people's thoughts about whether to short a stock or basically buy the stock or sell the stock. And so what you're saying is we have to look at and I think you said this, our platforms that we could get the message out in a unified way to get people behind it to affect the change that we want to see. I'll also say this. The issues are complex. Yeah, I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna let him jump in. The issues are super complex. And they're so vast, right, so that when we start to actually process what we need to do, we get exhausted just by thinking about it because there's so much that's going on. But there's an old adage, right? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? Brother Brandon, you had something?
Yeah, what I was going to say, I think Ronnie is spot on what he's saying, is that the weapon and the method needs to be changed and used differently, and the world advances. So once the world advances, you have to, the problems may stay the same, but the mechanisms that we use to correct those problems have to change. And that oftentimes our world is still responding to the problem the same way they did it. But at the same time, I think Ronnie 100% right. But Ronnie, I wanted to throw something out to your thought, Ronnie, about how you're thinking about the Reddit situation. They used a different platform to cause change, to bring the quote unquote poor or people that weren't middle class up above to the same platform with the rich. But how they did that is because they learned from the things that didn't work in the past, or they learned from the things that did work. And they looked in the past that over the years, when everybody came together and put all their focus and all their money all together, it drove change. And then they looked into the past to find the mistakes. And I think that is what we haven't done with our young generation. Is at the same time that we talked about a lot of the things. I think Pastor Mitchell named a lot of the issues that they've done to us throughout the history. What they've been doing over the last, I would say, 25 years has been strategically causing you all's generation to not know the truth about the things that occurred in the past, biblically and historically, so that then we view it completely different. So like, right now, we'll march and hold signs and do things because that's what they showed us on TV that the people in the 60s and 70s did. They marched, they did all those things. But the average person, young person, doesn't know the strategic things they were doing outside of march. It's like, yes, they did march, but there were so many other things that they were strategically doing. Like, most people just know Martin Luther King as, speeches and marches, when that was just his tactic to use a platform, while behind the scenes, what really is the reason they killed him is because he was causing economic change behind the scene. They didn't kill him because they were marching. They don't care, because if that was the case, they wouldn't let us march right now. They killed him and the others because of the economic change. He changed it from just talking about civil rights. He changed it to human rights. He changed it to money. He was bringing poor people together. And what our youth have to understand is, when we think about those people, they didn't die in their 60s. They weren't murdered in their 50s. They weren't murdered in their 40s. When you think about Fred Hampton, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Medgar, you can name all of them that they killed. And this is in their 20s to 30s. So the reason I bring that up is to empower you all to understand. I agree 100% with Ronnie, because it gets so irritating talking about it. But at the same time, we have to understand that the people that they're most afraid of are the people in your age range. We're starting to get to the place. I'm only 31, but the older we get, the more we step out of the phase of where their fear is because their fear is when the youth unite. And that's where you look through history, when you look into civil rights, even if we go back biblically, the people that are bringing that change are the youth, because of everything that you have, your energy, your focus, your ability. You have the opportunity to come together and drive things like Reddit to cause that change. So I wanted to throw that out to challenge, to say again, Ronnie was 100% right, but to challenge our young generation at the same time, that if we can do it in Reddit and we can do that, what are the platforms that we can use with your generation to then come together to cause radical change in the world? Because when our younger generation, that's because the reason they got, all this music that's on there, the reason they got your culture, they got your age thinking the culture is drug. They're trying to take that back to the 80s. They're trying to get y'all hooked on drugs again. They're trying to get y'all in the gang. They're trying to get y'all into violence. All of everything that we do, cigarette ads are promoted to a young generation. They do all that stuff for a reason, because they have to get y'all caught up. Because if they get y'all caught up, there's not going to be any change. But their fear is that if you all wake up and then use the platforms that y'all are effective with, but then look at the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and the problems that we wanted to fight. If y'all start caring about those problems and using y'all platforms, it will demolish anything that we have ever seen in this world, because you can look at every movement, they always came inside and then destroyed it from the inside and destroyed it through communication. So they're just trying to cause all of you to get on Instagram and look at OnlyFans, get on Instagram and talk about DMs, get on Twitter and talk about all that stuff. They don't want y'all to get on those platforms and start talking about real change and not just rioting. So I think you're 100%, Ronnie, but I think at the same time, we got to figure out what is that platform that's going to bring the change that we want inside of the world and inside of the church and inside of your generation.
What hurts them beyond violence? I think that's what hurts them beyond violence. I like what Rodney said too, because when you start talking about money, like folks be like, "What? Hold on, wait, what are you doing? Stop that." I think that's it kind of softened my energy a little bit, What hurts the white supremacy beyond violence, beyond returning bullets and fists? And that's their money and their property and their ownership. The moment you start playing the monopoly game with them, that's when the problem starts coming. So the system, like the Reddit part, how do we unify like they did with Reddit, but then unifying our resources and money for businesses? We spend 1.7 trillion a year. That's a nation within itself. How do we take that 1.7 trillion and then utilize it so that we can have our own houses, so that we can open up our own Airbnbs, so that we can create generational wealth, so that we can buy more land, so we can get into Forex and stocks and bonds? That's I believe that should be the best strategy to hit them where it hurts. Because then if we focus on the game of Monopoly, building our own, but then also with the cushion and behind doors, because we understand, like you said, MLK and them, they were attacked for approaching the system and fighting it in their way. But they also, like I forgot the name, the Deacons of Defense, I believe. They also were also ready to defend themselves at all costs. How do we balance both our, combat physically as well as, the game of Monopoly, to make them leave us alone, to take us serious? Because when Asians have problems, when white folks have problems, when people from Russia come over here and they have issues, they don't touch them. They dare not touch those people. They didn't say all people hate when they talk about Asian hate, but they sure say all lives matter when we say Black lives matter. They don't take us serious because they literally bond together. Hispanics and Asians will live in the same house for 5 years until everybody has their own house and building the same wealth in that house. We're too prideful because we want a foreigner Gucci, we want Louis Vuitton, we want these things. How do we focus on what matters and unify like they did with Reddit with this monopoly game that they're playing us with?
Deprogramming, because what we have been programmed to do, and this is not our fault, but my belief is that when we were enslaved, we were taught to fight one another, compete with one another, not complement one another, not help and build one another. So that's why it's very difficult for us to stay in the same household and come on, push one another out and help one another along the way and split the costs and split the bill and do this. Like I've had experiences going out to dinner with us and we fighting over a bill and we supposed to all be hanging out and chilling out. We everybody get upset because, the bill I wasn't supposed to pay that. You know what I'm saying? I'm of the thought process, and some people may be different, but if it's 10 people eating and the bill is $200, that's $20 a pop, right? But no, what we do is, no, I only ate a salad. No, I just had a burger, and my burger was $6.99, and you had a steak. But no, we're sharing. Why? Because we all enjoying each other's company. It's not about the money, it's about the company. It's how we built one another up, how we were developing in our own little huddle. But we didn't see it like that, and we competed with one another, right? And again, it takes deprogramming. But here's another thing. We need to deprogram in silence. Because whatever we do, and see, Alan is my best friend. We have these conversations, and we've been praying about how we were gonna roll this out. Okay. And we ain't rolling it all out yet. Okay. So please be still, Edmund, Alan, we're not rolling it all out. But I'm saying I got my members listening tonight, and I'm trying to give them a little bit.
Holy and righteous, Reverend. Holy and righteous.
But the reality is, I personally believe that we have to build, we have to move, we have to shake in silence. Because once we let the cat out the bag that this is our plan, it's all over. Because at that point, people will come to infiltrate, nitpick, find ways to divide, find ways to take away. blow us up, bomb us, castrate, do whatever they need to do to get us from thinking how important it is to of our collective, the power of our collective ingenuity, intellect. That is unmatched power, unmatched, and it works. And it history says it works. Now, here's another point, and I'm gonna sit down. But I also believe that integration.
You got to be wise with this one.
Speak it, man. Say
that.
You
got to be wise with this one. You got to be.
That integration was more problematic than what we anticipated. King said, "I fear that I am leading my people into a burning house." Somebody put in the comments, she said, "Let's get a strip of land and have a town that we support our own businesses, bring our own communities back. We have to employ our own people." Garvey was right.
It's a lot. First of all, it is a lot of land out here that we can really do that. We have a lot. It's a lot of land out here that is not, if you think about all these big cities, all inhabited and all that stuff, there's some land out here that we can go ahead and get together.
It is, but it's getting scarce. Here's why. This movement to green energy, hey yo, the government is buying up a whole lot of land.
Man.
Why you think cats is buying dudes is buying houses in Wyoming?
Detroit for $10,000.
Huh?
Folks buying houses in Detroit for like $10,000. That's where I'm from. When the system crashed in Detroit, white folks moseyed right on in, and we're buying 6-bedroom houses and townhouses, $5,000 here, $13,000 here, $2,000 here, and we were literally sitting down and not doing anything with that opportunity. Not where you putting our resources, our money together. We have to also consider the future. Artificial intelligence is a thing, and it is here, and it's going to take over a lot. You look at, for example, look at the new Walmart on 80 something, I believe, on the south side of Chicago I've been to. That Walmart is run by robots. Do we know how to fix those machines? Because we're not working the cash registers anymore. So I think that we have to be competitive in our process and our learning, because a lot of things are changing. We have to get hip with what's going on at the time, because our AI, the new technology that's coming, all these things, we have been housekeepers, floor moppers, clothes washers, roof fixers all our life. But when it comes to being economically savvy and competing, we always get left out. And if we don't get careful about our education and being purposeful about what we're going to do and where we're going to spend our money, we're going to get left behind, and we're going to be like a third world country, because you have to look at the foundation of these things. The moment AI starts taking over, it's going to replace a lot of us, and we're going to be jobless if we don't know how to compete. We got to teach our children to pay attention to what's going on. We need more people in computer technology. We need more people in engineering and all these things, because there's a new world coming. They just said that they're creating a chip that they're going to put under your skin to test to see if you're going to have COVID or not, and it's going to turn a certain color. Who's creating the chips? Who's manufacturing the machines to make sure these things are happening? And so we have to get competitive.
Okay, and let me shift something. Go ahead, Edmund.
Yeah, I want our kids to. I wanted the youth and stuff to chime in with us and engage with us, because honestly, you guys know what the wave is going to look like. You know what the change is going to look like, and we really want to get your opinion and thought about this. Sister James, Josh,
Lily,
let us know what this change is going to look like. How do we do it? How do we actively move forward? So go ahead.
It's kind of like what I said earlier. We got to get out that enslaved mentality. What I mean by that, like, this is what I think. Honestly, I don't see no change until we get out this mentality. Like when I say that, I'm trying to put how to word this. Like, this is just an example. Females won't mess with, like, a female won't mess with you unless you claim this set or unless you toe pose or sell dope. You know what I'm saying? It's a certain mentality we got to get out of to make change. Like, I just don't see that happening. Like, until, like I said earlier, we're all on the same page. Like,
okay,
I feel like we're in an enslaved mentality. And like what someone said earlier, I think it's all propaganda because it's like they put it in the music, they put it on TV, they put it, you know what I'm saying? They put it on social media. Like, this is the lifestyle you got to live to be cool, or, you know what I'm saying, to be somebody. But like, it's all propaganda. So it's like, until we like come to our senses that that's what it is, you know what I'm saying? Then I can see change. Like, we don't, you know what I'm saying? We'll spend all our money on Dior, you know what I'm saying? Dior bags or whatever, like, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, like, it's just, I don't know, like,
okay.
me and my homies
And,
talk
and,
about this stuff all the time. Like, it's just that mentality.
okay. So I'm a double back on you. I think that we've already addressed that. Okay, there is a division that I feel. When we think about slavery and we think about what we went through slavery, a lot of our Black people now are dealing with post-traumatic stress from slavery. This is, like we said, generational curses. You know what I'm saying? That has light against dark skin, old against young. Everybody is a op. Even the language that we use when we talk to people, it's not brother, it's not a friend. You know, with certain things in Africa, that's what we use. This is the tribe that we had, and they erased our history. So we're dealing with some traumatic things, okay, in relationship to that. That's no excuse, though. But but I want to say now we're here. We're here where we are. The youth is really the youth have the solution to make change. I feel so much. So my thing is this: the youth. What is that change going to look like? What is going to be the change, and how is that change going to happen? Sister James, I'm sorry.
I say we create a platform. I know we talked about social media earlier. I'm just gonna use myself as an example. My dream job is to become a news anchor. And then eventually I want to have my own talk show. And the reason I want to have my own talk show is so we could talk about subjects like this. We don't have enough youth, we don't have enough young people out here speaking and standing up for situations like this. Yes, we have our celebrities, yes, we have our artists, but they all rap and talk about the same thing. They're not really, it's not a lot of them using their power for good. You know, you see every once in a while they dip in and out of the subject. Oh, they make a post on Instagram, but you make a post, but what are your actions behind it? I say a solution, have more young people get on TV, have more young people get a voice, a bigger voice, and show what justice is. We need a plan. This is how we're going to execute it, and we're going to, execute it. And that's that. That's what I say my solution is. And I feel like that's how I will go about it, because that's the goal. That's the goal. That's the dream.
So how do we
ahead, bro.
Like, this just don't make sense to me. How do we get a voice like that's big enough? You know what I'm saying? Like, who gonna come up and speak like for us? Offset gonna speak for us? Or,
And
you know
that's
what I'm saying?
crazy. Like these
Quavo
It don't
gonna
have
speak
celebrities,
to
for us?
be.
So I'm saying, like, but I'm
It don't
saying,
have
like,
to be a celebrity. I'm sorry to cut you off. It don't have to be a celebrity. That's why you have your own voice. Because as you can see, the celebrities that we have in our generation, they make a post, we like it, and we say, oh yeah, that's wrong, and I agree with your opinion, but they still don't do nothing about it.
But let's be real. I get on Instagram saying woo woo with this. Who really gonna listen to me though? Like, let's be honest.
Here's the thing. Influence is built. You know, the one thing is for sure. If you are doing some craziness, if you out here clowning on Instagram, you're gonna get some followers like crazy, right? If you're doing things that are just out of this world, you know, unlike Josh type stuff, they're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna see what's the next thing he's gonna do, because we're so driven to, in my estimation, trash.
Right.
But it's a process. One thing is for sure. Your voice has to be heard. So you should lift it irregardless. And if one person hears it, see, here's what I've learned in pastoring and preaching. There's a lot of people that you've seen in church after I get through preaching, everybody shouting. That's not necessarily a clue that they're changing and that they're utilizing the information and in being empowered by it to help somebody else. It's the person that Bobby ain't doing no shouting that is positively being blessed by the message and will take that message to help somebody else. You don't know who is listening to you, Josh. The important thing is for you to do is to be you, be your authentic self, speak your truth, use the intelligence that you have, that God gave you, and be bold as all get out about it, and live with the results. The worst thing for you to do is to die and not speak your truth or live your truth. Let me read some comments, y'all. You can't underestimate your own power and influence. It may start small, but you have to keep going. It could start with just you and some friends. See what I'm saying? Yes, you don't by yourself. What I'm trying to say is this. You have influence. Lily, you got influence. Elaney, you got influence. Brent, we have influence, but it doesn't have to be on the mass scale to affect change. I don't even know what the last thing Offset said. You know, I don't know the last thing any of these people have said to me, because here's one of the things. Why am I following you? Where are you going? One of the biggest misconceptions in social media is that they have followers. That's a program. If I'm following you, that means I'm going somewhere. But you following the propaganda, the garbage, the mess. Let me shift because we got to go.
Yeah, it is.
So what's up with this vaccine?
Hey, hold on. Hey, Pastor.
Getting it. I'm not getting it.
Let me say something real quick to Josh's point too, that I didn't want it to get missed, is that we are in a mindset and they put us in this place to think that for change to happen, or how you all talk, someone mentioned it earlier, is that I think it was Josh, getting us all on the same page, or throughout history when we changed, is that it never has ever started with everybody on the same page. It has always been a small portion of people that decided that enough was enough, decided they wanted something different, decided it was a goal. It's never going to be, it's more so getting us to the average. Because if you look at, let's just talk about race. Every race, 100% of their people aren't wealthy. 100% of their people don't have money. 100%, like every race has poor. Every race has, uneducated. Every race has, living in impoverished means. So it's not like you're going to eradicate all of those issues. Like, it never gets to that place. It's getting to a place where our people, the average core of our people, is raised. So you're never going to get to a place, Josh, where every single person, all of us could sit here and argue probably for 10 hours about who is the greatest basketball player to ever, and whoever your favorite player is, somebody going to call him trash. You might say Bron is the best player, and it's somebody on this earth that thinks he's trash. You feel me? I'm gonna say it's Kobe. Somebody else gonna say it's Jordan, and they gonna argue all day long. But that does not mean that that person wasn't great. So to that point, just because you don't change all people, just because you speak your truth and everybody don't agree with everything, that doesn't mean that you're not great, and it doesn't mean that you don't bring change. And that's what they keep getting us. They keep getting us to think we need every single person, every melanated person on this earth to have the same thought. And that's the only way change is going to come. Any great person that you've seen on this earth, any prophet, any person through civil rights, anybody that was great in history started out either being talked about and they thought they was crazy. Everybody dogged them. We go all the way back to John the Baptist and we come all the way forward to now. Anybody that is speaking any form of truth is not going to be liked, or they're going to start with a small crowd. And you know, I gotta say it because we in a church setting. Yeshua only had 12. If you look at any civil rights movement that started, it started small. So Josh, whoever that you influence, I just want to encourage you, influence whoever you influence. And if you got a gift, it's gonna be recognized, and everybody gonna jump on, and everybody gonna take board. But speaking on you taking that voice, I just want to end it with I ain't taking the vaccine either, but we can dig into that too, Pastor.
Okay. Now, let me put it out here. Because I am a proponent of the vaccine. Number one, I had COVID, the real COVID, not the fake one on TV. Not the fake one. Okay, I had the real one. Okay, yes, and my four family members, my wife and 3 children, they also had it. Okay, I had the real deal Holyfield. Okay, mine wasn't no hoax.
Right.
I got the vaccine. Number one. Number two, I pastor a multi-generational church, and I care about particularly my senior members.
Right.
And following the science, they are the most vulnerable community. I don't want them dying. I don't want them getting sick. I want to still hug them. I want to still love on them, and I don't want to have to worry about me being someone who harmed them. And I'm the same, and so I'm the same way with my mother. I didn't see my mother basically for a whole year, right? But it was because I didn't want to get her sick. So the vaccine is not just about, me, it's about others. Okay. Now, hold on, Lily. Lily, you finna jump in, Lily. You finna jump in, Lily. Goodness gracious, you ready to go? You getting your turn, Lily. But I had Black scientists, one who's a member of my church. Black scientists, not scientists that just, show you a little chemistry thing. These are actual biophysicists, healthcare professionals, PhDs, Black, that provided our church and community on this platform. Go back on it. The vaccine, how it came about, and how it's different from the experiences of yesteryear that we all know about. These individuals have years of experience with it, and they helped to, at least for me, resolve some concerns I had and membership. Finally, I guess I can say it publicly now, 500 vaccinations gifted to me from my community, 60612. And we blessed you. Did you hear about this, Lily?
No, but I see 60612.
Everybody 60612. And we had some others too. They were members of the church. They didn't live in 60612. But we had over 300 people vaccinated. Okay. Now I say all that to say, that's why I did it. That's why I push it. That's why I'm with it. Now, Lily, what's your problem?
I don't know. I just don't want nothing injected in my body that I don't know nothing about yet. I don't know the full research of what's behind the vaccine. And then for people, I work with medicine, so I take COVID tests, but it's like when you get vaccinated, you get sick. Like, I don't know. It's like once you get vaccinated, you get sick symptoms. Like, I don't know. I'm just scared. Like, I don't want to take that chance and then that chance just be boom.
Yeah, I don't trust it either.
I don't trust it, but Lily, let me just say, when they put the vaccine in your body, that's so it's your system, some type of system.
Your
and so
immune
it can
system
fight
builds up.
yeah, your immune system, it fights it off, and your body can build it up and know how to fight against it. But I say I'm not taking that vaccine. Like I said to Pastor the other day, I've been blessed this whole year with COVID being around. I have not had COVID. I have not been sick. I know people around me have been sick who've gotten COVID, but I have been blessed to be healthy. I feel like I don't need that vaccine to be healthy now. I have taken every precaution the government has given us, and I have still taken extra precautions on keeping myself safe. I feel like I don't need to take that vaccine to remain healthy.
How do you know you not? How do you know you don't carry it right now?
I get
Alan
tested
raises
every
his
week.
hand.
Yeah, I get tested every week too.
I'm on campus. It's mandatory for us to get tested every week.
Go ahead, bro, Edmund.
No. I saw that.
No, we don't want to. We finally don't want to hear from Reverend Mitchell. But go right
Oh,
ahead.
Well, go ahead.
I'll say this like what Lily said. You have taken stuff, you have put stuff in your body that you really don't know what it is. Even what you eat, like you eat fast food, you don't know what it is. When you was in school, like when we were shorties, we had to get chicken pox, like the chicken pox shots or like the flu shots or whatever. You had to get those to go to school. Also, I would say this as well. I'm not taking the vaccine. The chicken pox vaccine took about a decade to find it. This is like a year. You have to get two shots because everything's not put into one. That means they're giving out two shots. They don't got everything that they need in one shot, which don't make sense to me. I don't trust it, me personally. The only way really I could really see myself taking it, if you know what I'm saying, is what they did with the other shots. Like you can't go to work, you can't go here, whatever. Right. Then maybe I'll reconsider it. But I'll see how y'all come out. Let me know how y'all turn out to be. If y'all cool with it, you know what I'm saying, then maybe I'll reconsider it for real. But that's it.
Turn to zombies or nothing.
What'd you say, Lily?
If y'all don't turn into zombies or nothing, I'm good.
Zombies.
Yeah.
I've been good. It's been a month. I've been good.
If they don't make it mandatory for school, I'm not taking that vaccine. There's nothing you can do to convince me, not enough money in the world, that's going to make me take that vaccine unless they make it mandatory for me to have a job and for me to come to school. That's the only way I'll take it.
That might happen.
Pastor Mitchell, go ahead.
It'll happen.
And it may happen. Go ahead.
So here's the deal. I just need 60 seconds of your time because I'm going on another platform. I've been researching this for a little while. And I'm just going to, let me go ahead and say this. I am not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy analyst. And when I hear things on both sides, I take it with a grain of salt and I do research. I want to say things, and these are things that I'm going to quote directly. I love my best friend so much. These are things I'm going to quote directly from the CDC and the FDA website, as well as prominent, well-known articles and mainstream media sources, okay? Just give me 60 seconds and I want y'all to listen about this V word, all right? Because, all right, I'll start from here. New York Times headlines and says, new government and businesses initiatives are moving in the direction of a two-tier system of vaccination and unvax raising legal and moral concerns, meaning that if you don't get it, you won't be able to do certain things, okay? There are also being vaccine passports apps being created so that when you want to go to places like arenas, when you want to go shopping, when you want to go open a business, you have these virtual passports to tell you that you have permission to exist, okay? Let's go and just listen to me for 1 second. Listen to me for 1 second. This two-tier system is problematic because they're giving you an ultimatum on whether or not you can exist. if you could open a business, if you could walk around, if you could leave your house. Even Governor Greg Abbott, pushed the vaccine to the point where he's now using the National Guard to get people to take this vaccine. But the FDA government website, if you Google it right now, it says and literally states the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine is a vaccine and may prevent you from getting COVID-19. There is no US Food and Drug Administration, FDA, approved vaccine that prevents COVID-19. It also says on the website that the FDA has authorized the emergency use of Moderna COVID-19 vaccinations to prevent COVID-19 individuals 18 years of age and older with the EUA emergency use. But in the same article on the FDA website, it states that the Moderna COVID vaccine has not undergone the same type of review as an FDA approved or cleared product. FDA may issue EUA when certain criteria are met, with it, which includes that there are no adequate approved and available alternatives. So this is their justification to making an emergency use. Why are we not? Why not give these facts on the news? That's one of the issues I have a problem with. The news has a one-sided narrative where they're not telling you exactly what's in print on the FDA website and CDC website. That they're literally saying that if you take the vaccination, okay, you can still get COVID-19. Why am I injecting something in my body if I can still get sick? And this is no offense to anyone who has taken it, because we also have to consider the pain and anguish those who have endured COVID-19. It is scary to not be able to breathe or taste or smell anything. It is scary to be so sick that you can't move, you feel like you can't exist. But when you look at the percentages on the CDC website, it says that 0.001% of people who got COVID-19, it said that it doubled 10 times more. Those who died was a 10 times more number. When you look at 0.1% times 10, that's 1%. So where is the pandemic? Furthermore, when you consider influenza, the basic flu, look at the statistics and the numbers. More people have died from the basic flu than they have died from COVID-19. Where was the emergency, the EUA Act, and the vaccinations when people were dying from basic flu? And so, further, when you go to, here's another quote from the FDA website. Under the PrEP Act, Under the PrEP Act, companies like Pfizer and Moderna have total immunity from liability if something unintentionally goes wrong with their vaccination. That's CNBC. And so, in other words, it hasn't been tested for short or long-term side effects. And then when you look at, the acts of the mumps vaccination, when they created the mumps vaccination, that was the shortest time in history that they created a vaccination for an illness. Guess how long that took? 4 years. Guess how long it took for them to create a vaccine for COVID? 8 months. This is why it's a problem. Johnson & Johnson is now on recall because you have to go to websites on like DuckDuckGo, because people don't realize that a lot of the media we're receiving is filtered on our mainstream internet sources. When we use DuckDuckGo or other search engines from Asia or Germany, you'll see that thousands of people are getting adverse side effects from these vaccinations, both Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, and Pfizer. There is a man whose skin was peeling. There are elderly people who are dying. There are several people who are having strokes and heart attacks, and there are side effects from this COVID vaccination. This is why I'm not taking it, because they haven't taken the proper time to come up with a way, or enough time to come up with a way where we don't have these adverse side effects. I feel like there's too many sources, too many articles that are out on the internet that we're not reading. Too much information on the FDA website and CDC website where they're literally telling us that we don't know if this is going to work. They literally say it may work. And it literally says that you can still get the illness after the vaccination. So if that is the possibility, then immediately, because of the trauma of a Black man, what is your ultimate goal when giving me a vaccination if it doesn't work in the first place? I'll stop there. I got more information, but I'll stop.
Okay. Okay. We just want to say to each their own. If you take the vaccination, I know that he gave us a lot of information that I know that he has researched and studied. It's a scary situation. And for somebody that works in healthcare, I've taken the flu shot for the past 5 years. And I understand the need. Because one, it's a peace of mind just to know that you have that vaccination. And especially with dealing with elderly people, I would definitely go with the vaccination. But to know what's going in your body, because this is the thing, and I'm not saying it's a conspiracy, but we went from everything to they're putting chips in this vaccination. We're saying that they're putting a chip in it so that they can see where you are, that the government can see where you are, which doesn't make sense which is crazy. I don't agree with that because let's think about it. If the government wants to know where you are, the phone will tell you. You think about how many times you said something to your phone, like anything, and then you go on Facebook and you see an ad on it. That's not per happenstance. It is calculated things that are advertising, because if you're talking about hair products, you're going to see a hair product on your Facebook feed. Am I right? So if that's the case, you got to understand, I'm not thinking that they're tracking us through this, right? I think for the peace of mind that you get from it, I think that you should do it. If not, then okay. Let Brother Brandon It's the same thing with the flu shot. Oh, I'm sorry, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, appreciate it. All I was gonna say, I work in education, so we were some of the first people that had access to it outside of the elderly, and around elderly. I work in sports. I'm an athletic director, so I'm around thousands of kids, thousands of parents all the time. So it was a real conversation on if we were gonna do it. And what I've been telling everybody, because now they've been asking us to talk to our athletes. So we test our athletes every week for COVID, for them to participate in sports. And the parents been calling, asking for our opinion on if they should get their kid vaccinated, because if their kid is vaccinated and then someone has COVID, then they don't got to sit out for games, right? So that's kind of the world I've been in. And I've been having a conversation with parents. I think in the world is so crazy and where we gotten, I think we got to be in a place where everybody is comfortable making a personal choice about it. Like, and being comfortable in that choice and knowing that everybody's situation is completely different, that some people, like I was like, I ain't getting it, right? Some people are in a position where they can make that statement and it's totally fine if they go there. There's certain people that are in positions that they feel the need or the importance or it brings value to them to take the vaccine, and it makes more than sense that they made that choice. And I think we get into a place where they got us getting distracted and arguing about it. And it's like, I got a whole, like, I appreciate Pastor Mitchell and all his facts. I got a whole bunch of reasons that I won't go into or why I made my personal choice. But I've been telling all the parents, you got to make a personal choice based on your family and what you're willing to live with. This is your choice. Like, if you make the choice not to get it, this is the reason why. Make sure it's fact-based. If you choose to get it, make sure the reason you chose to get it was fact-based, and not that, oh, I ain't taking it, and then someone asks you why, and you can't say what Pastor Mitchell just said, or someone tell you that they getting it, and just like Pastor Williams he led with why he got it and all those reasons. So I've been telling all the parents is, whatever choice that you make on it, just make sure it's a sound decision that you made, and that you're not just taking it because they told you to, and you're not just not taking it because your cousin, friend, best friend told you not to tell. You heard on a site that is like, make sure you studied and the reason you do it, and then don't get offended when other people don't. Because I throw this out, I got one person in my life that will just and I'm not gonna say if they taking it or not taking it, but when they hear somebody else's choice, they just go crazy. And it'd be like, you gotta relax. Like, just this is a personal choice for this person. And that's why I said I don't want to say what their choice is, but when they find out someone's making the other choice of theirs, they just go crazy. And it's like, I think it's creating a space where folks can't make an educated choice for themselves on what they need to do, because people just want to bash the other person. And again, like I said, I'm coming from the place of that I'm not going to, but I'm not gonna see a person that got it and then just be like, you the devil. It's like come on, let's have a conversation.
Allow me to thank you, brothers. Thank you, sisters. Thank you, everybody, for chiming in. We getting out of here. Let me say this. From my estimation and my research, the vaccine was never meant to prevent COVID. It was to prevent you from dying from it. Now, again, it did happen fast, which also begs the question with a lot of these quote unquote researches that we do, cancer research and all this and all that. If we get a COVID vaccine, why can't we get a cure to cancer? All cancers, right? If it happened that fast, you know what I'm saying? I get it. And I respect the fact that people have their own reasonings for why they don't get it. And it's not my job to, try to convince one otherwise. I just know based off of the research and the science that's present, and the CDC, the information is public. It's not private, it's public information. So it's just a matter of us being able to delve into it and decipher what's best for us. For me, I'm always on the side of caution because of the people that I interact with on a daily basis. And I want to make sure that they are as safe as possible around me. Okay. But no, man, we're not judging anybody for whatever they do, whatever they decide not to do. It's all gravy. And let's not use the vaccine, whether we taking it or not, as a means to divide the brilliant collective of Black people. Because that's one of the goals in the whole game of vaccine. Oh, you ain't take the vaccine? What's wrong? So now we got another thing to argue and fight about and fight it each other with, not understanding the trick of the enemy, right? The Bible talks about, this is Bible study, so to speak. Bible talks about that the devil, Satan, the serpent, was the most subtle of all the creatures in the garden. And so it's subtle ways the enemy will use, and he'll use this vaccination to find a way to, again, kill us off. But I respect and honor those that did make the decision to do what they wanted to do. And I pray it was a prayerful decision, a factual decision, a fact-based decision. And I pray whatever happens, only good comes of it, not bad. But I want to thank all of you that joined us. It is the longest Word for Life I've ever been a part of since I've been a pastor. I'm usually in and out in like 30 minutes on Wednesdays. But I want to thank all of you for your presence tonight. Thank you for your brilliance. There was so much engaging. People are tired of the disease killing so many people, and the vaccination for COVID is new. By all means, gathering information to be informed, but it's better to get vaccinated to avoid dying. That's what some people are saying. Like I said, everybody had some wonderful insight about what's going on. Y'all want to do this next week?
Next week, Brandon, Pastor.
Yeah, like
It's a great day, y'all.
It's gonna get deep. It's gonna get deep.
We're gonna talk about
it. Pushing the envelope. We just like, we're right here. Because there's a lot more we got to talk about, and a lot more that's pertinent to our world. But at the end of the day, in all honesty, my prayer is that whatever we do and however we present, that we are the best witnesses of Jesus Christ. That's just me. Okay. Like, I want God to get the glory out of the work that we're doing.
Thanks.
That even in how you express yourselves, we can see the God operating in you, the gift operating in all of you. And that's the goal with these conversations, so that the masses of people can see how brilliant you all really are and how you have a voice, a God-given voice. Nothing here, in my estimation, that was said was unbiblical, ungodly, but it needed to get out. And make no mistake about it, I'm asking everybody that's listening on Facebook and YouTube, if you care about your community, if you believe in the voices of Black people, of Black young people, you ought to share this message, because some vital information, some life-saving information, some thought-provoking information has gone forward. And so my prayer is that you would hit the share button, family, and let the whole world know what's going on over here at Metro and how God has blessed us with some friends that are not a part of Metro, and some beautiful fish that are already in the pond, the ocean, the lake of Metro, that already have so much to offer. Well, thank you, Brother Edmund. Stay tuned. Again, we're just trying to teeter and totter. I get a little nervous when I do these things because I already know what I have in my mind and what many of you have in your minds about church, about God, about the Bible, about community vaccination, all that. And so far, so good. So just know, if I delete the live early on, if I just hit the cancel button, that means I couldn't take no more. That means I can't take it. My nerves couldn't handle it. I don't want to put too much on the folk. We got to delete. We gonna move. But thank you so much for joining us, family. And I pray this has been a blessing. And look forward to hollering at y'all next Wednesday. Just a point of reference for our church. We were going to do again the giveaway for fresh produce this Saturday, but we're unable to do that. We're going to be lending our love and prayers and support to Sister Linda Johnson in the loss of her husband, Deacon Wanzi Johnson. So we're postponing that event on this Saturday. But members, family, church, stay prayerful, stay prayed up, stay connected. We have Sunday school coming up on Friday and Saturday for our older and our younger members. And certainly keep in prayer for all of our sick and shut in, that God is able to do the miraculous. There are a few of my members that are really going through in this season. And I'm going to ask Brother Brandon, if you would, brother, would you just close us out in prayer and just send us home, and we will be so grateful. Thank you again for everybody joining us.
Thank you all. I got y'all. The Heavenly Father, we just want to acknowledge you and say how great you are, how awesome you are. We just thank you for you, and just thank you for this space. Thank you for this opportunity. We thank you for everybody that tuned in. We thank you for every youth that was present, for every voice that spoke. We ask that it be united in peace, united in righteousness, and that every voice was different, but the fact of what we came together was to give you glory, and for it to be one voice and one focus, and that is to give you praise, to give you honor. Please bless and let everybody be safe. I pray for these to continue to be righteous conversations and be done in a righteous way, and continue to be effective and to bring change to the world. In your son's name we pray. Amen.
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 Peace out,
Thank
y'all.
y'all.
Have a good week.
All right, y'all. Thank you all.
My button won't press and my fingers cold. Oh Lord Jesus.